It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Concierge Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my ups and downs.
Good morning. Welcome once again to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. I'm Gene Sullivan.
And I'm Tony Crockett.
Good morning, Tony.
Good morning.
And we have a great show for you today, a show that has not jumped the shark. And some of you may not know that terminology, but we'll tell you some other time. But
Stay tuned.
A show full of relevance, and we have some very interesting stories that we're going to be covering today. One of the first stories that we'll be covering will be angry homeowners at their homeowner association for being charged an assessment.
I'm so sorry to laugh, but
that's new, isn't it?
Yeah, we hear. Unfortunately, in our business, that's who we hear from are the angry homeowners,
yes.
Right?
But we're going to talk about it because it does bear having some comments made.
That's right.
We're also going to be talking about a court that ordered the Homeowners Association and Management Company to be involved in the cleanup of a hoarder's home in a condominium association. Just it's a
pretty horrific story. I would put the children to bed and don't let them listen.
It really is something else. We've talked about this before, but that's something that I think is going to be interesting. We're also going to be following a story that took place here in Minnesota, where a homeowner got upset with their homeowner association because he thought that some of the things he was asking to be repaired was the association's responsibility and not his as the homeowner. Well, there wasn't a huge...
That's not how it turned out.
No, it wasn't a huge dollar amount, but he went and took it to court, and he lost. And we're going to be talking to the attorney who represented the Homeowners Association a little bit later.
That's
here,
Phaedra
too.
Howard. That's
right, from Helmuth and Johnson. But let's begin, as always, with property management in the news. And as always, Property Management in the News is brought to you by Pest Control Services. When you need to get rid of unwanted pests in your home or rental property, you want to call someone who's responsive, professional, and a proud member of Angie's List. Give owner Greg Keener a call at 952-894-9748. That's call Pest Control Services. And so now we have a story, a news clip from WBTV Channel 13 from Charlotte, North Carolina, that aired just earlier this week. Go ahead.
All you people are looking at me like I'm the devil. But you made it. No.
This was from last night at 11 o'clock. We showed you how anger over HOA fees exploded in East Charlotte. Neighbors are outraged. They're being asked to pay more because others in their community cannot afford the fees.
But tonight we may have found a solution that's more fair to everyone involved. Regina Mack has that story all new at 11 o'clock.
We found ourselves really in a real bad financial situation.
Bill Graziano is president of the HOA in his neighborhood, Wildwood Meadows in southwest Charlotte. He can identify with the explosive homeowners meeting in the Boulder Creek community Tuesday night.
I've given up so much of my life to this HOA, and all you people are looking at me like I'm the devil.
Graziano said his community once faced a similar situation.
How many homes at that time were not up to speed?
We were, it was between 50 and 60% was delinquent at that time.
In fact, they were so strapped, Graziano says they couldn't even afford to pay an attorney to collect the outstanding fees. Instead, they found someone willing to charge the delinquent homeowners.
Contact the homeowner, make a payment plan, and as the homeowner started paying, the attorney's office would collect what they were due first, and then after their bill was paid in full, then the money started flowing into the homeowners association.
In less than a year, everyone was current without threatening foreclosure.
Quite honestly, asking people who pay their bills to pay more is just something inherently wrong with that.
Willie Mobley, a Boulder Creek homeowner, agrees. While he is upset over the added fee, he understands why some are struggling to pay.
You never know somebody's situation. You know, it is a recession, and a lot of people losing jobs. A lot of people just don't have a job, so you can't really get something you don't have, right?
Brigida Mack, WBTV, on your side.
Now, there is another alternative for homeowners.
Okay, well,
We've
thank
learned
you.
that state law.
Thank you, Eric. Tony, a interesting story. Something we hear all the time. Association assesses homeowner gets angry at being assessed.
Mm-hmm.
In this particular case, it's because homeowners were not paying in the association. And so the association said to the people that are, we still have to meet our obligations.
We have to pay our bills.
We have to pay our bills, so we're going to have to pay. And so they were asking more from those that were paying
Right.
so that they could meet those obligations.
And truthfully, it was kind of a substantial amount. Their annual HOA fee was $230, and they were asking for an additional $100 per household. So that's almost a 50% increase, and people got upset.
Yeah, well, percentage-wise, yes, that certainly was the case. Now, a statement was made by another president from another association. He was interviewed. He said they had something similar, and he mentioned a few things, but I don't know that it addressed their issue. He said, if you're having trouble finding someone to collect, instead of paying an attorney outright because you don't have the money to do that, find someone who will collect the money and take a percentage as it's collected.
Sure.
That's fine and good, but this particular case, we were talking about a homeowners association that said we can't meet our obligations.
Right.
It's not just about collecting money
Right.
and having the money, but we can't meet our obligations.
Right
so
now.
we've got to continue on. Otherwise, the only recourse, I would think, would be to shut down those services that the association was
That's
providing.
Right. And it still surprises me that homeowners don't ever think about the services they're getting for that fee they're paying. But that's what's at stake here. If you can't pay the trash hauler, your trash isn't going to get picked up. If you can't pay the city for the water bill, you're not going to have any water. If you can't pay the lawn service to remove the snow or cut the grass, it's not going to happen.
The electricity for the street lights, for private streets, that type of thing.
And not that every association covers all of those things, but you need to be aware that your fees are collected for a reason to pay common bills.
Yeah. And the thing that some people who are just listening to the show may not understand, and that is, even though some more additional money is being asked of homeowners now, it's not that is the way it's going to be forevermore, and it's not to say that that the people who aren't paying aren't going to. The association does have an obligation, and it sounds like they probably have and will continue to try and collect that money.
That's right.
And when they do, then they're going to be able to lower fees again. But until that time,
possibly, right. And that was a good suggestion from that other board president, a way to afford collection action. But you're right. Right now, the bills need to be paid, and it's going to take time to collect these past due bills. Yeah, unfortunately, this is becoming a bigger problem, it seems, all the time because of the number of foreclosures that are occurring in homeowner associations. And as the one gentleman that was quoted, because the economic times are very difficult, people have lost jobs and they're having trouble keeping up.
And it is. There's no doubt that any additional unexpected expense that comes your way is a little bit tough on someone's budget. But I guess I would maintain that the amount, even though, like you said, it may be 40 to 50% of the yearly association fee is being assessed once again. But again, put it in perspective, it's $100. I was thinking in terms of, you have one clogged toilet, you're going to spend $75, $100 just to get a plumber to come out.
To your house, that's right.
That's an unexpected expense, but
you can't live without it.
You can't live without it, and there are probably other services that the homeowners, like you said, aren't aware of that they wouldn't want to live without, and so you're going to have to come up with some additional money.
I just think homeowners need to be aware. And the last quote in the printed article was from an attorney who represents homeowner associations, although none of the ones in this story. He said homeowners have to be careful to read their covenant when they buy so they know exactly what their responsibilities are. And that's so true. It doesn't make any sense for these homeowners to be angry about this. They agreed to this when they purchased. They are a collective, and the bills need to get paid.
I agree. But I speak for a moment about this, because I'd like to also put this in perspective another way, too. And that is with being bound with other individuals in a contractual situation. And that's exactly what we have here.
That's
Homeowners that are under contract and bound together by contract law to be responsible collectively for the expenses of the association,
right?
Similar to when you have 3 or 4 individuals renting out a home.
That's right.
And talk about that. I mean, if one particular renter out of 4 said, "I don't have money to pay rent," I don't think that the other 3 can say to the landlord, "Well, here's our portion. You're really upset with this guy here, so why don't you get it from him?"
Well, maybe they shouldn't say it, but they do say it when it happens. You said they can't say it. Yeah, they can, and they do. But our lease, which is our contract, covers that situation. You are all collectively and individually responsible for the entire amount of rent. And it's simply because a landlord can't afford to absorb that kind of situation. So if it ended up in court, the judge would say, "I'm sorry, but those of you that are responsible and have been paying your bills have to cover for this delinquent."
But that's
roommate.
understood. That's just understood in contract law. Same thing if someone is co-signing for an individual and purchasing a car.
Yeah.
Someone's co-signing for an individual to purchase a home, and someone doesn't make those house payments. They're going to go back after that individual. Credit cards, everything.
That's right. How about this poor board president who says, "You people are all looking at me like I'm the devil"?
I felt sorry for him, because
I did too.
I understand. I understand his pain.
I
really do. He stormed out. He did come back, it says, to talk, and but he needed to. Yeah, he needed to probably take that step back, but he also needed to remember that it's not about him personally,
right,
but it's about the situation.
Right.
Sometimes that's difficult.
It's too common. It's too common. He gives a lot of time to his homeowners association. He catches the flack when homeowners irrationally get angry because they don't want to meet their responsibility. That's the way I see it.
Yes. Well, and so just remember, folks, if you enter into a contractual agreement in a homeowners association, yes, you are going to be collectively responsible for the expenses in that association. Well, that today was Property Management in the News, brought to you by Pest Control Services. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk about this story about a court ordering an association to clean up after a hoarder who's living in that property. More after this.